Hello, everyone. This is Martin Chagnon, Director of Sales at NaviPro. I'd like to welcome you to this podcast series dedicated to the 9th edition of the IT Trend. As every year, the NaviPro Group published last June its annual report on the state of the IT market in Canada. Throughout this series, we'll analyze the key statistics and take a closer look at where the market stands 6 months after the report's release. Which trends, challenges, and priorities have evolved since then. For this podcast, I'm pleased to welcome Michael Bélanger, Technical Specialist for IBM watsonx, Data and AI at IBM. Michael, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Martin, for the invitation.
For this podcast, we'll discuss a highly relevant topic that stands out in our report: artificial intelligence and data analytics. So, Michael, first question. We notice in the report that many organizations say that they have started an AI project, but few of them have deployed them at scale. From your perspective, what is still holding back this maturity?
Yes, thank you for the question. So, there are distinct aspects to this question. The first one would be that the return on investment is still unclear. So, companies did put incentive in place for AI experimentation without clear indicators of added value. So, oftentimes it takes place into an innovation sandbox that really allows testing for AI use cases and exploring capabilities before even identifying specific needs. So what we see is that leader in AI maturity are those who integrate AI into their crucial processes with indicators of added value. The second portion is that the transition from prototype to production is complex. So many companies have promising proof of concept solutions, but they often struggle to industrialize them. There's a false sense of parity between the test environment and real customer tools ecosystem. There's also a lack of data governance, so which is probably the next point, because there's no good AI without good data. So even before thinking of going forward with AI, you need a clean, consistent, and accessible data set. So companies often discover when they go out of the POC that 80% of the AI effort is data, cleaning, labeling, integration, and much more. And I would say that the last thing is the lack of AI skills and culture within the enterprise. So what I mean by that is that there's often a lack of AI champions capable of bridging the gap between what was put in place by their services and the maintaining of this solution. So oftentimes, solutions are pro code and very custom and hard to maintain. So there's that to keep in mind as well when you do proof of concepts.
Okay. Second question. When it comes to the reason for adoption, increasing productivity remains the top driver. 20% for AI, 11% for data analytics. How does that translate in practice with the clients you work with?
Yes. So there are actually what are called the core business functions of company, such as HR, IT support, customer support, and many more. So in those core functions, you have what's called automation of repetitive tasks and augmentation of human work. So this is where you will see virtual assistants, automatic report generation, intelligent document processing, everything to have productivity gains of up to 30 to 40% in certain support functions. The other one is there are tasks that are more specific to each company depending on their specific industries. So that's where you start thinking about faster and better informed decision making, personalization with different customer bases, and even reimagining processes and experiences. So instead of just adding AI to your processes, this is where it's time to actually rethink your processes and put AI at the core of the processes to have a measurable impact.
Great. So, from your perspective, could you share with us a concrete example of where AI has truly transformed decision making or boosted a company's productivity?
Yes, so there are actually several examples I could give, but an interesting case that often reflects the reality of many companies around the world, including in Quebec, is IBM Client Zero Story. With a strong presence in Canada and particularly in Quebec, IBM stood out by using its own technology, notably watsonx, to achieve significant productivity gain and reimagining its processes around AI. So we shifted the paradigm from simply adding AI, like I was explaining, to existing processes to just reimagining those. So for example, at IBM, we have something that's called Ask IBM, an agentic system that allows employees to handle their HR, IT, procurement questions, and more for operations to do automatically without human intervention, or even simpler, just draft emails.
So you can know how many vacations you have left without asking anyone.
Yes, yes. So no need to wait anymore.
Good. So last question. For all companies that are concerned about data privacy, how does IBM help these organizations maintain control, traceability, and confidentiality of their data in an AI context?
Yes, thank you for that question. I think it's very relevant to the topic today because it also ties back to your question one when you were asking few have deployed POCs at scale. And I think one of the main reason is actually data privacy, governance, and risk into the enterprise. There are several ways to achieve data confidentiality and traceability in AI usage. The first one is to start with your data governance and secure architecture. Like I was mentioning previously, you need to implement a clear data governance framework, classification, access right, anonymization, retention policies, and much more before you even start thinking about using it with AI. The second one is actually AI. So the model you'll be using, you need to be using enterprise grade ready models. You'll be able to deploy them in-house or hosted on secure infrastructure, which will help you use your internal data without exposing it to third parties. The other one I would say is awareness and culture of trust within your enterprise. You need to put in place some enablement within the enterprise because some people are inclined to use as much data as possible for their model for it to be as performance as possible. But this is not always the case and it poses much more risk than the value it actually adds. So if I can just summarize this represents a comprehensive practice of enterprise risk, compliance, and governance combined with operational best practices and controls for quality assurance that you need to put in place.
Thank you, Michael. That summarizes this podcast. I'd like to personally thank you, Michael, and IBM for participating in this, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you to NaviPro for this invitation.